Right, so let's do a quick summary of those measures of center and spread. If our distribution is symmetric, then we want to use the mean and the standard deviation together. If our distribution is skewed, then we want to use the median and the IQR. Okay, and then you can use the range anytime you would like. All right, so let's do one last problem to kind of sum up everything we've learned. This problem is called logging in the rainforest. So conservationists have despaired over destruction of tropical rainforests by logging, clearing, and burning. These words begin a report on a statistical study of the effects of logging in Borneo, which is an island in Indonesia. Charles Canyon of Duke University and his co-workers compared forest plots that had never been logged. So that'll be group 1. Group 2 is similar plots nearby that had been logged 1 year ago. And then group 3 will also be similar plots nearby, but those were logged 8 years ago. All of the plots were the same size, 0.1 hectares. And then the data for the counts of trees for each plot in each group can be found on the data tab called logging. So go ahead and hop over to Excel and we'll look at how to make side-by-side box plots for each of those groups and then start answering some questions on that. All right, so hopefully you made it over to Excel and you found the logging tab. And so the first directions on our notes say to make side-by-side box plots. Unfortunately, the way that this is set up, it won't make us side-by-side box plots. So we need to reorganize the data. So the way to get side-by-side box plots in Excel is actually to take each group and give each group its own column. So we have 3 groups. That means we're going to need 3 columns. So I'm going to call them group 1, group 2, and group 3. Just fold for fun. Okay, and then I'm going to take the number of trees for group 1. So I'll highlight those and I'll copy and paste them to the group 1 column. I'll do the same thing for group 2. And the same thing for group 3. And you'll notice that group 3 doesn't have as many plots of land in it, and that's totally fine. Excel will still make a box plot just fine from this. And then to get our side-by-side box plots, what we want to do is highlight all 3 of these, including the labels at the top. So the reason we want to include those labels at the top is that Excel will create a legend for us that has the right names in it. So I'll highlight all 3 groups together, including their names, and I'll go over and insert a box and whisker plot. And now I can add that legend to it so we can see which group is which. And you can add a title and all kinds of other things. But there's your graph. So anytime you're doing side-by-side box plots, you do want to put them each in their own column before you make those side-by-side box plots. Okay, on your notes, there's a part A, and you're going to go through and decide whether these are skewed, they're symmetric, and how the mean and median compare. So go ahead and pause the video and give that a try. All right, so hopefully you tried those out and you have some answers, and let's go ahead and compare them. So let's start with group 1. Okay, and I did recolor mine so I can see the X's and lines a little bit better. So this green one, I see that the X, which is the mean, is above the median. It looks fairly close, although this lower whisker is definitely shorter and the upper one is bigger. So I would say that this one is slightly right skewed. And then the mean is greater than the median. So that would be letter B for that. Group 2. So group 2 is a little bit interesting. It actually looks like the mean and median are almost equal. So that would be letter A. But as far as whether it is skewed or symmetric, the 2 box pieces look close to the same size. The 2 whiskers do as well. But there's a small problem here, and that's this outlier. So this one is symmetric, maybe a little bit uniform, but I would put a note there that there's an outlier because that does impact things. So close to uniform or symmetric, since all 4 of those look about the same. And then the third one, so the longer whisker is on the bottom here. So this one is going to be less skewed because the lower whisker is longer. And then when that happens, that means that the mean is going to be further out the tail, so it's going to be lower as well. And we see that here with the X. The X is actually lower than the line in the box, which is the median. All right, we will come back in the next video and do some more work with these.